Delicious. Though next time, it might be better if you washed it first.
I'm on it. Onwards. This way.
What's over there?
Even those who have disappeared may have done something very clever.
This way.
This way. We move.
I see. What's over there? This way.
We move. Welcome to the Humankind tutorial series, where we'll give you a rundown of the different parts of the game. In this one, you'll learn some basic mechanics like movement, advancing out of the Neolithic era, and early game tips and tricks. Everybody in humankind starts off as a Neolithic tribe, and the goal in this stage is to make it up to the Ancient Era. How do you do that? Well, you'll have to gain Era Stars. You gain Era Stars by completing objectives, which you can see up here in the top left corner of your screen. Before we get into what these objectives are, though, you'll have to learn to navigate the map. To move your units, select the group, then select the tile you'd like to move to. Different units have different numbers of movement points, and once you're out, you'll have to wait until the next turn to move again. These guys only have 4 movement points, as you can see here, and we've used them all. Let's click the End Turn button here. Humankind is played in turns. Every player carries out their actions simultaneously during their turn. When there's nothing left to do, you must select End Turn to move to the next one. Ending a turn will refill unit movement points, advance any ongoing constructions, and top up the number of resources you produce. In each era, you'll have to earn 7 Era Stars out of a possible 21 to advance to the next one, except for the Neolithic era. Here, you'll have to obtain 1 of 3. To obtain a Growth Star, you'll have to gain population units. To gain units, you'll have to earn food, which can be found through hunting wildlife, ransacking animal sanctuaries, and sending units to these glowing curiosities with the food icon. Ransacking is pretty simple. If you find yourself near one of these markers here, select your army, then select the Ransack button on the right side of your screen. Then select the sanctuary you'd like to ransack. In the Neolithic era, it'll take a turn to finish, but later down the line, depending on what you ransack, it could take longer. You can also ransack outposts, districts, and extractors, but we'll talk a little more about that in the Break the Wall video. You'll get science stars by obtaining science curiosities, similar to the food ones I just mentioned. Pay attention to the curiosities icon to know exactly what you're picking up. To earn a hunter star, you'll have to hunt wildlife. In this era, you'll find deer, bears, and mammoths, so make sure you have enough units with you to live to tell the tale. To attack an animal, select your army, then select the attack button in the army panel on the right and select the animal you'd like to attack. I'm going to hit this button to resolve the battle manually, and this will open up the battle map. Place your units in the deployment phase, paying attention to terrain elevation and type. We'll dive deeper into how battles work in the Stick 'em Up videos, but for now, just remember, high ground equals good, rivers and low ground equals bad. Just a couple extra things to think about and take with you in these early stages of the game. The foggy parts of the map are areas you either haven't discovered yet or don't have vision over. When you navigate to these areas, the terrain will become visible to you. Be careful though, because you may also discover a hostile faction, animal, or independent people. Also, different tiles on the map work in unique ways. For example, traveling on or through forests will cost more movement points than usual. Rivers work a little differently. Landing on a river tile will cost quite a few movement points, but traveling along a river will allow you to move without penalty. Hover over different tiles to see how many base movement points it'll cost to travel over them. And that should be most of the basics. Check out some of the other videos for a deeper dive into the more specific parts of the game. Now let's get to building you a big old city, shall we? In this one, we'll be chatting about placing outposts, creating and managing cities, and collecting the 4 basic resources in the game, FIMS, or Food, Industry, Money, and Science. To start, you're going to want to claim a territory by placing an outpost. To do so, just select your army, navigate to this button here, and plop the outpost down on any tile you want. It's really simple, but there are a couple things to consider. Outposts cost influence to build. In the Neolithic era, you'll gain influence by hunting and discovering science curiosities. There are other ways to earn it down the road, which you'll discover as you play the game. When placing an outpost, first you'll want to consider your proximity to your opponents. Being close to your enemy doesn't have to deter you, but just know that settling beside them may put them on edge. Secondly, elevation. Your outpost or city may be attacked one day, so it might be wise to get ahead of it and take the high ground. Think of elevation as a natural defense. And finally, resource output, which we'll talk about right away. Territories are sectioned off by dotted white lines like the ones you see here. When you place an outpost within one of these areas, the section becomes yours and is outlined by your empire's color. Be on the lookout for territories with an abundance of resources, shown by these icons on the map. The 4 main building blocks of any bustling city or outpost are food, industry, money, and science, or FIMS. Each of these basic resources can be exploited directly from the map, the amount of each depending on where you place your outposts and districts. Food will feed and grow your population, industry will affect the production speed of your city, money will let you buy stuff, and science will help your people learn new things and advance technologically. Starting out, a good bet is to look for areas with good food or industry yields, but almost every territory can be lucrative if you play your cards right. Back on the subject of outposts, you can place one in the Neolithic era, but you won't be able to convert it into a city until you've chosen a culture in the Ancient era. So what's the difference between an outpost and a city anyway? Well, an outpost can be placed on the map, like I said before, to claim the territory. You'll be able to exploit food and industry adjacent to your outpost location, and the game will show you a FIMS pre-visualization when you hover over different tiles. You'll also be able to place resource extractors, but that's pretty much it. You won't be able to grow much economically from there. Converting your outpost to a city is the solution to this problem. Building a city will cost some influence, but that's where the real growth starts. You'll gain access to both districts and infrastructures, which will allow you to increase the amount of resources your city generates and exploits. You can only convert your outpost into a city once you've reached the Ancient era. To start the conversion after you've chosen your first culture, go into your outpost and navigate to the menu that appears on the right side of your screen. If you've got enough influence, you can hit this button right here to start construction. Your outpost will instantly upgrade to a city. And remember, the first city you build will become your empire's capital. I've mentioned districts and infrastructures a few times now. Once you have your city, select it. On the right side of your screen, once again, you'll see a series of hexagonal icons and a few square icons. The hexagons are districts, which are quarters that are placed directly on the map to exploit and gain specific resources. For example, let's take the Maker's Quarter, which specializes in exploiting industry and adds an industry population slot. Managing your population will be very important down the line as your population grows. For now, hit the icon to select it. Once you have it selected, you can hover over different tiles adjacent to your city center or any other applicable tile gain from placing it there. You may also see a UI suggestion for where you'll get the most out of your placement, but it's ultimately up to you to decide where you'd like to set it down. The same works for farmers' quarters, except they exploit food instead of industry. Back to the menu, the square icons are infrastructures. These are usually upgrades to your city's resource output, but the difference here is that they are not placed on a tile. Infrastructures are straight upgrades to your city, so you don't have to worry about where to place them or what they exploit off the map. For both districts and infrastructures, hover over their icons before you queue them up to know exactly what you'll be exploiting or gaining. Once you select an infrastructure or place a district, you'll see that your constructions queue up in the order that you start them. Everything you build in your cities costs industry to complete. Let's say you earn 100 industry per turn, and the district you like to build costs 400. It'll take 4 turns to complete that district, assuming your industry income remains the same each turn. Every turn, industry is contributed to the construction and continues to do so until enough has been put in to complete it. If there's anything left over, that industry will be carried over to the next thing in your queue. The same process is used for researching technologies, only it uses science, not industry. If you're feeling a little impatient, you can also just buy out the whole construction with money, or, after some research, population. Be careful though, it can get a little pricey the further off it is from being completed. There's still a lot more to go through when it comes to city management and humankind, so in the next one, we'll dive a little deeper into how you can make your cities more lucrative.
Our universe contains infinite stories, most of which are about rocks and ice at sub-zero temperatures in a vacuum. Rather boring. However, on a small damp rock, there is a story that bears a second look. Across the world, nascent societies are taking a deep breath, looking across the landscape and preparing for greatness.
I see them. This way.
On it.
Sustenance, security, and pleasure. Wonderful stuff, this simple food.
This way.
On.
If you learn nothing else, you could learn what killed them.
I see them. We move. What's over there? This way.
This way.
You have built a first outpost, adding another territory to your empire. I know, you're hoping this is the beginning of something very, very big.
This way. What's over there? I see her. This way. I see her. What's over there? I see her. What's over there? This way. We move.
This way.
We move.
This way.
Nothing will harm.
Ah, the challenges of a young civilization. It's hard keeping up with the neighbors when they have the wheel and you don't. Humankind learns quickly that everyone contributes. If you're terrified of wild animals, you can grow lentils or catch fish. Tribes settle towns. Towns develop markets, and markets begin the exchange of goods, services, and most important, rumors and hearsay. Entering this era as the Egyptians, then? No prizes for guessing how you plan to leave your mark.
You ask too much. Yes, Commander. Come over here. That won't work.
Over this way.
We'll stay here. Attack! No mercy! No mercy! Off we go. Uh-huh. Let's do this.
For your families!